guys, welcome back. I know it kind of looks like we're filming in the middle of the night in here, but it's because I had to close all of my blinds in this room and shut out all of the natural light because it's just so stinking hot outside. It makes this room turn into a sauna. So if that looks weird, that's why. You guys, happy Friday! I went on my notifications tab, your notifications tab, and I did a little survey. Asked you guys what you wanted to see today, and a little over half of you voted to see the new Too Faced Tutti Frutti Collection, and I'm super pumped to try this. We have the Do You Full Coverage Fresh Glow Foundation. I'm in the shade Almond. Sparkling Pineapple Eyeshadow Palette, and she looks like this. Ooh, yes. I'm so excited about these colors. And then I also decided to try, it's a little smaller than I expected it to be, Too Faced, but it is the It's Bananas setting powder, and the shade is, you know, banana cream. We're going to do a full foundation wear test on the Do You foundation. I am expecting to like it, just to give you guys a little bit of an idea of where my head is at. This does have a little bit of a headwind, but that also means that the stakes are a little bit higher. So anyway, guys, let's go ahead and jump into getting some of this makeup on my face. I'm trying out a new shampoo and conditioner, and my hair is very bodified and thickened, but I'm not sure if that's going to translate overall into it being kind of gummy and build-up-y. We will see. Anyway, did you guys help? I don't know. I have already got some skincare and some primer spray on my face right now. Let's go ahead and jump in here. Again, I got this in the shade Almond. This is the Do You Full Coverage Fresh Glow Foundation infused with juicy watermelon and fresh cucumber. And I think that I'm going to try applying this with a brush first, and then if that doesn't work, we'll go on with a sponge. Right, so it says long wearing, dewy finish, hydrating, and brightening. Those are all things that I am a huge fan of. I prefer a dewy foundation because I am pretty dry skinned naturally. I may have used too much. We're about to find out. Okay. Ooh, this whole collection has scents. This one, what is that? Could be watermelon khaki. There it is. They helped me out. So I do appreciate that Too Faced tends to stick to the same shade range in any of their foundations. I know a lot of companies probably do that, but there aren't a lot of companies that release more than one foundation. And so I tend to have to navigate the color range every single time I kind of try a new product. But it's nice that I was able to just buy this based on the shade that I know matches me in their Born This Way foundation. Okay, so we have dewiness, and it's not just because I'm schwitzing. So I'm gonna take this down my neck just a little bit. Not because I think it's necessary, it's a pretty darn good match, but more because I put so much product on the back of my hand, I figure I might as well do something with it. So I do love the way that that went on. I'm going to go in with some of the Conceal and Define from Revolution. Still loving this concealer. It is just brightening and lightweight enough. Zoobly Zoo Face, anybody? Any of my OGs? I will say that the fragrance is not overwhelming. It's pleasant, but it might not be for everybody. I've definitely encountered a few products recently that are scented, and I definitely think it's a choice. Like, it's a choice. So that is beautiful. I am loving it so far. I would so typically right now go in with my Thrive powder, but we have a powder to try today, and yes, she smells like artificial banana, and I'm super into it. I love fake banana, you guys. Like, you know that one weird friend you had growing up who always wanted all of the banana runts, and everybody was like, you're crazy? That was me. Gonna go in with my big fluffy Thrive brush here and dip in. So this is supposed to be a brightening setting powder, I believe. I think it might have a little bit of, actually no, it doesn't appear to have any sheen to it. It might just be the yellow tone that's meant to cancel out. Okay, I love the smell. I don't know how much I'm going to love all the smells on my face all at once, but I love the artificial banana. That has really great pore blurring. I really, really like that. It doesn't feel heavy at all. I like the yellow. I'm very golden undertoned though, so I don't know that necessarily yellow powder would flatter everybody, but I also don't think that typical of Too Faced products, the yellow is in little bits, and then this is more of just a translucent powder color. I really like it. So we have a very I would say lightweight face of makeup here. I know that it did say full coverage, but we went in, you guys. I find that a brush distributes it more evenly. I don't necessarily prefer one over the other, but I do think that the brush tends to put more product on the face. So that said, this is not giving me the full coverage vibe that they are suggesting on the bottle. I'm not mad about that because I'm not necessarily a full coverage girl anyway, but I do think that it's an interesting promise that they chose to go full coverage on the bottle, and it's clearly not full coverage. You can see all my freckles, my pigmentation, and everything. So I love this powder so far. This is so pretty. This is really right up my alley. When we tested on Wednesday the new Luscious Cosmetics powder, I told you guys this is definitely going to be for the girls who need more mattification over the course of the day, for oily skin types, maybe normal to oily, but I don't have that skin type. I'm very normal to dry, and so I don't like to pound on the powder if I can get away with it. So while this doesn't have a ton of coverage, it does have nice color correction and neutralization on the skin. I like the little bit of kind of sheen and glow that still comes through from the foundation in spite of the powder. This is a very ideal coverage level, an ideal look for me, for my skin, and I think it's gonna look really beautiful when we hit it with some finishing spray. But first, I'm going to go in with my bronzer and my blush and pretty much everything up until eyeshadow, and then we will crack open this palette. I will be right back. All right, I am really excited about my makeup right now. This feels like such a fresh face of makeup. It's just so bright and dewy and pretty, and everything cooperated right on top of it with so little powder. And when I sprayed it with some finishing spray, everything just lit up. I'm really, really loving the foundation and the powder so far. So let's go ahead and jump into this eyeshadow palette. They came out with a handful of them, and Candy Johnson is just like killing it on their website. She looks amazing. I went, and it might be me trying to avenge the fact that I could not get my hands on the Elusive Gemini palette from Melt Cosmetics, but I wanted to try the one with kind of the golds and the greens of life in it. And I do think that these are going to be very wearable kind of gold green shades, and I love that they put this together with this really nice kind of like rosy brown, and then we've also got some good highlight shades. I am a little concerned because these pans are just like floating in the package. Look at that. Like, I can move that around. It kind of freaks me out. There's a little divot in my gold. No less product, just kind of a weird little imperfection. But anyway, the other thing here, oh God, we talked about the fragrances, you guys. This one smells like a pina colada, and I don't know how I feel about it because while I love artificial banana, and I'm a big fan of the watermelon fragrance, artificial pineapple and artificial coconut, they go a little cloying. So hopefully this being on my eyes and not right underneath my nose, that's where eyeshadow goes, is going to make it so it doesn't smell as noticeable. Like, I don't smell my chocolate bar palette over the course of the day. Well, actually, rip my chocolate bar palette. It expired, so I had to throw it out, unfortunately. That was one of like my first palettes ever. But we're going to go ahead and do this and see if it does make me want to gag from smelling pineapple all day. I've already got primer on my eyes. I already did my brows, and I think you can tell that because my eyes are just conspicuously naked. I'm not even gonna go like transition shade here. I'm just gonna dip into this kind of beautiful yellow white cream. It's definitely leaning yellow, and I'm going to just kind of go all over with that. So I skipped through that because there really isn't much to show. Although on camera, you can see the yellow a little bit better than you can see in person. I feel like the light hits it in a certain way, but that was just to set my eye primer. I'm going to go in with my favorite little Real Techniques brush here, good and clean for us today. And I'm going to start in with this champagne shade, and I'm going to go kind of transition shade, just sort of right in the middle. This is the one that's like hovering in the palette, and it seems like it's about to fall out. It's making me really nervous. Very shimmery, very, very shimmery. Have you guys been watching all of these videos coming out where all of the beauty YouTubers are retaliating against just the machine of it all? And Marlena from Makeup Geek basically came out and said that there are influencers who are demanding $60,000 a video to feature her products in them, and it's actually hurting her bottom line because she can't afford to do that. This is the best part. She encourages companies to seek out micro-influencers who actually are doing it for the love of the makeup and for the passion for their community and not to get paid to talk about something. That makes me really excited. That feels like a turning point in the industry, and I really appreciate, even though there's nothing happening yet, I really appreciate somebody like her or like Tati, who also put out a video like that today, using their platform to try and do something positive, to try and just unwind us from this weird, money-hungry, social climbing machine. Because even if I had wanted that out of this channel, it wasn't going to happen for me. I'm just really bad at lying. I can't possibly promote a product that I don't believe in. I've even done makeup looks that I didn't like and didn't feel like were me, and I've deleted them and not uploaded them because I was like, this just isn't me, you guys. Like, I never want to misrepresent myself, and so I genuinely really appreciate the recognition for those of us out there who are trying to make an honest living on YouTube, and not people who have managers who are trying to squeeze businesses for every drop of money in exchange for their influence. And she also said that the money doesn't really come back in return. Like, if they pay somebody $60,000 for a video, they don't get that in return. So, I mean, really, you know, the influence isn't as big as they're purporting it to be, which I think is really interesting, because that's all very mysterious to me. I'm gonna go ahead and go in with this shade right here. These all have names. Passports and pineapples. So we're gonna go in with this little brown right here, kind of in the crease, while I continue talking about this. I've explained to you guys a few times on my channel how people make money on YouTube. Like, while I would love to be a Tati Westbrook and make money entirely on views, you really do have to get millions of subscribers to do that. YouTube doesn't pay very much for views. They just don't. You're just not going to make a living on that unless you have, you know, at least a couple 100,000 subscribers, and at that it would still be a pretty modest and unpredictable living. Tati's video today was really cool. She's like, you know, I talk about this on my channel, how I've never taken codes, or if I have done any partnership with a company, I've been very, very choosy. And she does kind of draw this really great distinction between the idea of a money-hungry creator and someone who actually is, you know, making it and getting faulted for making it. I'm going back into coconut sugar right here to kind of blend a little bit. I just want to say that I think that we have carved out this incredible, unique corner of the internet. Right here on this channel, all of the people who support me and are understanding and give me amazing ideas and feedback and all of their kind of trials and tribulations, feel comfortable messaging me individually, we can just talk about makeup. That I never want to change. I want to remain accessible. I want to have this channel always be that. And I think that what we've managed to make as a community here is it just builds a really strong foundation for us to continue growing and maintaining that culture here. And I really appreciate each and every one of you guys for that, because it's just a really, really nasty industry out there in a lot of ways. And I feel like we're kind of, even though I'm growing modestly, reasonably, I feel like it's pretty reasonable. I'm not going viral on these videos. We're just having fun. I feel like I would rather it be that way, because then I get to still have this really amazing tight-knit community. So, thank you. Going to go in, let's see, let's swatch these two and make some just, whoa! So this gold is super soft. I just stuck my finger in it to swatch it and it just all came up. Look at that, wow. It's super soft. It reminds me in initial appearance of the one from the Beauty Counter palette, but it's so much more foily than that. The other one leaves a little to be desired. There we go, holy moly. Sparkling Pineapple and Island Queen. The Sparkling Pineapple is obviously the one that's the color of a pineapple, and Island Queen is the green-ish, taupe-ish color. I can't believe that this shade right here that I really thought was going to be a green, it turns pretty much just brown on my skin, which it does have a shift, and the shift goes a little bit blue-green. I think that that's a really interesting choice. It's not what I expected. But I don't think that we can resist putting those on my eyes today. These two are kind of the stars of this palette, and so I am going to use this to create kind of a smoky look, and then this as a big highlight on the eyelid. Gonna dip into Island Queen and see what she does. That's a much more subtle shade than I was expecting. Doesn't satisfy all of my regrets about not getting the Gemini palette, because it's definitely not even as green as the shade that came in the PYT palette. That's okay, because it's a really beautiful color. When the light hits it, or when it kind of dips into your socket, it kind of does a contour for you, which is cool because it shifts brown in the shadow, which is really, it's kind of tripping me out right now, I'm gonna be honest. Plus, I'm barely picking anything up on my brush, and it has this really gorgeous wash of color that I get from it. It's not even on top of another pigment, it just kind of creates this interesting presence all its own. I like that a lot. This palette's actually surprising me. Like, this color is incredibly surprising. Going to go underneath the lash line, but I'm going to use that same color Island Queen because it's kind of blowing my mind right now. I didn't think that I could wear a shade like this on my eyes, and honestly, to say a shade like this, I've never seen a shade like this. So, kind of a misnomer. Wow, 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 wow. You know, I'll be honest, you guys, when I ordered this collection, I was just excited about any new release that I might possibly like. There has not been anything particularly like mind-blowing or exciting lately. I'm waiting for all the holiday stuff to start coming out. I am still loving a lot of the stuff that came out early summer. Nothing's really blowing my mind that's coming out right now. And so I saw the Tutti Frutti collection. I was like, all right, something new kind of from the mainstream Sephora collection so that we kind of keep a nice mix on my channel. But I wasn't necessarily prepared to like be obsessed with this palette, but this shade is kind of changing my tune right now. I think that the next thing that I want to do is go into this brown color right here. It seems like a very natural choice for a crease shade. So let's go ahead and build the crease a little bit. I think it's also really commendable that you would put out a collection this big. They rolled out a huge collection. This Tutti Frutti collection has like 4 eyeshadow palettes, a whole bunch of bronzers, a whole bunch of blushes. They've got 2 different like finishes of liquid lip. They've got 2 different powders. I mean, it's crazy. And then there's also the new foundation. I would think that for all of this getting released right now, that, I don't know, that maybe the quality or the imagination wouldn't necessarily be there, or the completeness of thought, but what I'm seeing from this right now is that each of these has its own color story to it, at least I hope, based on this one, that they all have kind of a really nice color story to them, because this has an unexpected kind of level of editing to it. All right, I am dipping into that same kind of camel color, passports and pineapples, and just kind of blending up from there. And then we will continue to blend that with coconut sugar, which is really funny. Coconut sugar is the only sugar I buy. I love coconut sugar. I make my own ice cream. I have been lately. If you guys haven't been watching my vlogs, I've been really into making my own ice cream lately, and I always use coconut sugar for it. So like every flavor is brown. What flavor is it? Brown. The most exciting thing here is to go into sparkling pineapple right now. I'm going to use a much lighter touch than I did last time because this is an insanely soft shadow. And I'm going to go on the center of my lid with it. This is so foiled that you can actually feel the grit. Like the particles are sort of sharp and have angles. It's not painful, but it's definitely got a texture to it. I mean, we're gonna use every shade in the palette today and not even have to really try. Like I said, it tells a really good story. I'm gonna go in with that little brush again, and I'm going to hit that gold that you have to be very careful with. And I'm going to go on the inner portion right here of my lower lash line. A little bit of fallout, that's okay, we can clean that up. I didn't wet my brush, so kind of my fault. And then finally, the only shade that we haven't gotten a chance to use yet is called Pineapple Cooler, and it is this very cool toned taupey silvery color right here, and I'm going to use that to highlight my inner corner. So I'm going to re-deepen out here a little bit, bring some of that depth back in with Tutti Cutie. Now that I have the gold on top of that shade on my eyelids, you can see, or at least I can see, it's a little bit green. Like the green is coming back through, which I think is really nice. So I'm going to take a little bit of the coconut sugar and Yum Yum right here, mix them together, and use that to kind of blend out from my socket here. It always, so my eyes are really deep set, and so they stick in right here. Like they just actually literally dip right there. I just poked myself in the face because of course I did. It always makes it look like I didn't blend my outer corner very well, but it's literally because my eye like dips in right there. Okay, I'm going to take my finger right here in this Yum Yum shade and, like I said, re-highlight my brow bone. That highlight shade does leave a little to be desired in terms of brightness, but if I wanted to go nuts, I could use this one, which actually, look at that. It made a finger indentation. All of these shimmers are really soft, really, really velvety. Just so you guys actually see it in action, I'm going to clean up underneath my eyes, all the fallout and whatnot, with my MAC powder. I got back from New Jersey, y'all, and everything smells weird. Not that it's New Jersey's fault, that's not my point. It smells like something got wet in my suitcase, and I don't know why, but everything smells really bizarre. Look at the difference that makes, though, in making me look like I have my shit together. Like, oh, looks like she didn't put a brush in an errant place at all. And then this eye is like, hides a world of sins. Did you guys watch the Sharp Objects finale? Holy moly mackerel. I had no context, no spoilers or anything for that, and so I so got the surprise, the twist. I mean, I was absolutely just queued up to be shocked by that ending. So if you guys watched it, no spoilers in the comments, but did you love it? Because I freaking loved it. All right, guys, I'm gonna go throw on maybe some liner, probably not, probably just some mascara and some eyebrow mousse and get this all finished up, and then we will chat on my final thoughts. All right, guys, so this is the final look that I came up with. We did succeed in using every shade in the eyeshadow palette, and I just thought it was perfect to really set it off with a really cool kind of like berry hot pink lips. So what I have on my lips right now, I started out with the Thrive Cosmetics Lip Filler Lip Liner in Valesia, which is this really amazing hot pink. And I then went in with Kathleen Lights' Scorpio Moon, and I used that to blend. This is from her ColourPop collab, the Zodiac. And this is more of a plummy berry tone, and then I blended that in with the lip liner. And then I used, this is just kind of a random thing I have lying around from last year. This is the L'Oreal Paris Infallible Paints in Fearless Fuchsia, and they spelled fuchsia wrong, but it is just this really incredible high gloss bright pink, and I threw that in the middle and I just kind of blended it out. So I just thought that it really popped the whole tropical look that I got from the eyes. So I am going to wear test this foundation, the Do You foundation, for the next 8 hours and check in with you guys at the end of my day. But I wanted to give you guys some kind of preliminary final thoughts, just in case I don't have all of my brain cells together at the end of the day when I check in with you guys. So the foundation, gorgeous. I'm loving it. I think that it is super glowy and pretty. I do not think that it is full coverage. I do not think that they should have called it full coverage, which is fine with me, but I just want to let you guys know. And I am really into this powder. Really, really, really into this powder. These are not inexpensive products, you guys. Too Faced thinks very highly of their products. I think this was like 30 bucks. Like, that's kind of a lot for a little powder compact. You only get 0.37 ounces. It's kind of a lot, but there's a lot of thought and ingenuity that goes into these products, and especially for it being such an enormous release that they put out with the Tutti Frutti Collection, I'm just very impressed with the level of detail, the attention to detail on these products. So really loving the complexion products so far, and then this eyeshadow palette. First of all, I have not even talked about the packaging. The packaging on these is so awesome. What would you call this? Like a resin almost is how it feels. It feels like there's sort of an image underneath resin. It's got this really cool little Too Faced insignia right here that feels very luxury. And then it also kind of creates this little tab right here to be able to very easily open this. It's also very compact it's a compact, but it's still very compact, especially for having as much product as is in here. I chose this one because of how warm it is. It does have a decidedly warm leaning tone to it, and that is what makes it, I think, incredibly flattering for my skin tone. I think that it's going to look extra amazing on golden, warm, deep skin tones. I think that these colors, oh my god, I think that they would just pop on deep skin tones, but pretty much anybody, I think, with golden to neutral undertones can wear this. Even the like deepest crease shade is still not very cool toned, even for my taste. So that said, I think that this is absolutely beautiful. So that said, I will see you guys at the end of my day. Oh, you will be so fun to white balance. Oh, you will be so pink and maybe a little bit blue. Hello. I am at the end of my day, and the lip color, I knew this wasn't about the lip color, but the lip color drove me crazy. Every time I caught myself in the mirror, I was like, damn, Khaki, that's a lot of look. Anyway, let's talk about this foundation. Oh yeah, there we go. Hello. So, let's take a look at my face up close here. This foundation has been through quite a lot today. I was doing so many chores and walking my dog and going in and out of my friggin' hot garage, kind of schwitzing like low key for a couple of hours. And I will say, she stood up really nicely. The only thing that I will criticize, and this is not even about the appearance of it, is just, it's not the most comfortable foundation to wear. I know that that's really hard to convey, but you know that feeling where you can dab it, you can blot it with a blotting sheet or something, and it saves it and everything looks fine. But it was just one of those foundations that I was conscious of my whole day. I just felt it on my face. I don't know why. It's just there's certain formulas, and I think that that was probably what I couldn't really put my finger on about the Born This Way foundation too, was that it wasn't a bad foundation, and this one actually outperformed Born This Way. This looks really, really good. I would give this a 9 out of 10. The 1 point deduction just being like, I felt it all day. I just felt it all day. It just, I was very conscious of it. It felt like a layer of something on my face all day, and not all foundations are like that. I think that's why I love the Natasha Denona's, because it's full coverage, it's high coverage, and I don't really notice it over the course of the day. The Charlotte Tilbury Light Illusion, Light Wonder, another one that like I just forget I'm wearing, and it's a great feeling. This I just knew I was wearing all day. That said, let's look at it up close, because this is not by any means a bad foundation. It's very pretty. It's very pretty. It is not a blurring foundation, and that powder didn't really keep the blur alive as much as I would like. Plus, you don't put as much of that powder on as you would a lot of other powders. It's just very lightweight. I appreciate that about it. And so this wasn't necessarily like betraying my expectations or disappointing me or anything. I just want to point out that my pores are very visible right now. That's fine. I'm not embarrassed about having pores. It's like having nipples. We all have them. It is one of those foundations that gives you a really nice kind of snatched appearance. It does stand up well to sweating and kind of annoyances and things like that. It doesn't get particularly sticky, but it got kind of sticky. I had to kind of dab, but I also think that I was in sort of exceptional circumstances of just kind of sweating a lot. Just like that low key over the course of the day, just kind of steady sweating. Stuff got kind of sticky around my mouth, and so I kind of had to blot that, but it stood up to blotting, which is cool. I also like that the pigment on the rest of my face has stood up really nicely. I mean, the eyeshadow palette, we already talked about that. It's freaking gorgeous. I love it. Should I get another one? I mean, the collection's huge. Should we try out one of the, like, berry toned ones or something? Just let me know. I would definitely recommend this foundation if you're looking for this coverage level, and I think that it's beautiful. Just be aware that it's not one of those, like, weightless, effortless feeling foundations. You're gonna kind of notice it on your face. It doesn't even transfer really badly. It just kind of feels a little bit there. I don't know, it just feels a little heavy on the face. But I will wear it again. I think that it's really pretty, and I think that it performed really nicely over the course of my day, and I like the way that even as it sort of broke up over the course of the day, I like the way it broke up, and that is what I'm looking for. Plus, I will definitely say, this is totally personal, but they nail my shade match. That is so distinctly personal and niche, but that is a darn good shade match. I have to say. So, Almond is the shade that I wear if you are my same skin tone. Doesn't betray me over the course of the day. The color stays true, which is fantastic. So 9.5 out of 10, because I honestly think it's a personal preference that I just kind of like don't love it to feel kind of heavy on my face. Some people don't mind that at all. So anyway, guys, I hope that you appreciated this. I'm calling this a win. This is just all in a big win. I'm going to continue using this powder. It is beautiful. It makes me feel really youthful and glowy and pretty. Guys, if you enjoyed this, give it a thumbs up. If you want to keep hanging out with me on this channel, hit the button down below and subscribe. I would love it if you guys did. Thank you so much for watching today. I love you so much, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.